I will make you big, though.
Ooh. So you can see my chin. Something no one has seen for years.
A decade?
I met a contractor today who I went to uni with. And obviously he knew me at uni when I only had, like, when it was like this, stubbly.
Right.
But hadn't seen me for about a 4-year period, in which time I'd grown a beard, and then he's seen me for the last, say, I don't know, 5 years with a beard.
Right.
And he saw me today and he's like, "You look weird. You look super weird. I don't like it." I'm like, "No, no, do
I'd say probably just look a bit younger.
Yeah.
You don't look
Yeah, I mean,
as horrifying as I thought
you
you
didn't. I mean, I was expecting a fully shaven. Like, the fact that you just went to stubble was a little disappointing. I wanted to see that chin.
I was anticipating asking you to turn your video off. We don't need to. It's fine.
What I should have done was fully shaved, wet shaved as well, and then wore my suit and my red tie, and just not said anything for the entire episode. Just sat here with a fibre wire and a couple of silenced pistols and just scared everybody for the whole episode.
Play the drums perfectly randomly. Have you seen that? I don't know if you got paid that mission. Where he just stoically plays the drums perfectly.
That's just what it was down.
Just zero expression on his face. Yeah. Oh, how we love Agent 47. Welcome then to Tanked Up, the podcast about video games and beer. It's episode 203. I'm Ben and I'm here with Lucy.
Hello. Still around.
Yay.
Still alive and kicking. That's all we can hope for these days.
That's very true, yes. And we are also joined by Aadil. You've got to make...
Hack is joke, but joke is also a hack.
Yep.
Yeah.
You've got to make light of these situations sometimes, haven't you?
Yeah. I watched The Thing, and I was like, that was very appropriate. Yeah, sometimes you're just like, oh, I want to hide from reality, and then it's like, no, I want things that portray dystopia. So
I can imagine a lot of people have been playing The Division 2 and Metro Exodus and those sorts of things recently, just to get in the mood.
Or like the Plague Inc. Mobile game.
Yes.
Yeah, I played that years ago.
Yeah, it was alright.
It was like, I enjoyed the little bit I played for it, but I couldn't imagine playing that now, because when you look at that world map and see how things spread so quickly, and it's just like, I just wiped out humanity in the space of 17 days, and it's like, that's a bit too real. Yeah, it's a bit too.
I think I don't think I'm making this up. I'm pretty sure Plague Inc. was removed from the Steam store in China.
It was,
when this kind of all kicked off, and you can understand why, can you?
I think it was the top-selling game over there for like a few days, and because one of the viruses on that game is coronavirus. So yeah, and then the devs had to say, "Don't look at our game for advice."
This is not
it's just a game. It's it's somewhat factual, but it is just a game. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's drink some beers and forget about all this shit. Aadil,
Hey,
what you drinking first this week?
I have picked from my haul of beers from the bottle. Something with a green label, because we are recording on St. Patrick's Day. I think everyone has forgotten, because it's really just self-isolation day.
Yep, pretty much.
It's also because you'll see. So it's the Moor Berry Sarek Do It Together Mango Tea Pale Ale. It is a 5.2% pale ale, and it has tea from the Canton Tea Company, so it's still topical.
Nice.
It's got Chinese ingredients.
What's the date on that can?
Oh, last week? No. I don't actually know. There it is.
If there is one, I can't remember with Moor if they have.
They do, but it's the best before date, and I don't know if it's 6 months. It's 30th day of the 5th month. So that would put it made, what,
in the
4
autumn
months
at
ago?
some point.
Yeah. Plus, the ingredients would have come over a long time before that. It's fine.
I know that beer has been knocking around for a little while. Saw it, definitely last year.
Alcohol and fermentation will kill everything. So.
Yes.
Yeah.
As long as you are 70% alcohol, you'll be fine.
My body is. Don't worry about that.
I think my balance is off. I think I'm 70% coffee, 30% beer, so I need to tip it the other way. Lucy, what are you drinking?
I'm going to be drinking a beer from Beavertown, and it is an India Pale Lager. It is from, I guess, their latest series, where they're going through all the planets. This is called Venus IPL. So they've got, Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, all that. All different styles, I believe, and this one's India Pale Lager. It's 5%. Doesn't really give any flavour text, so don't exactly know what hops are in it, but yeah. I mean, I don't know what the distinction between just a lager and a India Pale Lager is. Maybe they, want more hops in it or something like that. Who knows?
Yeah, we've had a few between us, haven't we now? And they've always seemed maybe just a little more, I don't know, a little more full, perhaps, a little more full body, not quite sort of as crisp as a lager, or they're super lagery, but just with a bit of a bite, a bit more bitter.
Yeah, because I mean, I don't know how it's fermented. I guess it's fermented like a lager rather than a pale ale. So who knows? They didn't really give any information on the can, but I picked it up especially because it says brewed with our friends at Glasshouse, who are a Birmingham-based brewery, who I enjoy their beers very much.
Nice.
Some good beers.
Do you know much about the series?
No.
Is it all collaborations?
I believe it's all collaborations, yeah, but outside of that, I don't know, maybe they just fancied a few collabs and they're like, well, what are 7? How many planets are there now, minus Pluto? 8? 8 collabs? And like, what's 8? What goes into 8? Planets, and maybe they just decided that way. I don't know. They'll probably have more information on their websites.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like, we've already done 7 deadly sins. Let's do 8 planets, whatever.
Seems reasonable.
Cool. Right, I am going to crack into a new brewery. This is Southbrew Co. Confidence is a preference. Double dry hopped IPA, 6.5%. They don't have sort of any flavour text or anything, but it does give me ingredients. It says the hops are Citra, Idaho 7 and Magnum. The yeast is London Fog, and the malts are Best Ale Malt, Naked Oats, Wheat Malt and Dextrin Malt. These guys are from East Sussex. Is BN a Brighton postcode? I think it probably is, isn't it? Everyone seems to be brewing in Brighton these days.
Bournemouth, I don't know.
Yeah, somewhere around there, isn't it? Yeah. It does. It gives a best before date, which isn't until September. So hopefully this is pretty fresh. I saw them in the bottle shop last week and didn't pick them up, and then did in my latest visit after seeing a couple of really good reviews on things like Instagram and stuff like that. So I thought I'd try it out.
Good stuff.
While I open and pour and get it ready, Aadil, we'll come back to you. You've had 2 minutes to have a look.
So I forgot to say that it is Flavor Texas Passion is the least you can get.
I agree.
It smells mildly mango.
No, I mean
mango-like.
compassion. Sorry. Yeah.
Oh yes.
Yeah. That's the one.
So it tastes like a pale ale. I'm getting the mango notes. I think the tea is mostly just curbing back the super fruitiness.
Okay.
Just the initial taste. Oh, there it is. Yeah, in the finish, we're getting a little of that bitter green tea taste. It's really well melded, all the tastes. So you get like a light pale ale mango, not too fruity, not too tropically, and then it moves into this slightly green tea finish. I like the bitterness of the hops. Does it say which hops are in it? No. It says Hopfund, and that's because I'm reading the wrong language, but that's okay. It's a little dry at the end. I was kind of hoping for a little more finish, a longer finish. Sort of, it leaves really light, and sort of it's mostly like a bit of that. You know, when you have some strong green tea, there's this like light coating of your mouth that sort of lingers afterwards.
Yeah.
You get this like green tea. It's not really the taste, but that's that lingering. So there's a bit of that, but not that strong. But that's the primary sort of finish. But overall, like, I'm surprised at how well the mango and the tea sort of move, like the tastes interact, and they just sort of fluidly switch. You're like, oh wait, now it's tea, versus like there's the mango part, there's the tea part. It really does smoothly transition. It's really easy to drink. I'm worried I will drink it very quickly and need my second beer before everyone else.
And it's a Moor. It's only a 330 can, isn't it?
Yeah.
Don't worry,
Dangerous
I'm
when
right
they're that
there
little.
with you with the 330s and the very easy drinking.
How is it, Lucy?
It's good.
All right, moving on.
Yeah. Next, it's you can see why it's called a IPL, because you are getting those kind of estery flavors that you get from like a lager, and that it's a wet finish, but it's still got that crispness to it. It's really refreshing. I mean, it looks like a lager. It's practically see through, just a bit of haze, and it's very light straw coloured. Put a nice, probably about 2 finger, like very white head, so it looks like a lager basically. But yeah, it's got that fruitiness that you wouldn't really associate with a lager. It's got that at the start of the taste, and then it gives way to those like estery, like kind of banana clovey kind of flavors. So I think it balances it well. There's still what is the distinction between just a lager and India Pale Lager? Maybe it's that fruitiness at the start, but whatever concoction it is, it's good. So whatever label they give it, but yeah, I really enjoy it. It's good. I mean, Beavertown, they still make good beers regardless, and Glasshouse, propping up, Beavertown. It's like it's going to be a good beer. So.
Yeah, and it's always good to see, even with sort of like Beavertown's buyout and stuff, and everyone, or a lot of people kind of moving away from them. It's good to see others working with them still, and still keeping them as part of as the community. Because Beavertown are massive, and have been for a long time, and very sort of driving in the world of kind of craft beer. Yeah, and pushing beers and stuff out there for more people to have. So yeah, really good that people are still working with them, and that they're still producing excellent beers. That quality doesn't seem to have disappeared at all.
Yeah, they're stalwart in the beer scene, no matter what. So yeah, it's got that really nice softness and lightness that I associate with a lot of Glasshouse's beers. It hasn't got that like. Well, yeah, I'd say harshness of a lager. Like, it's like, oh yeah, this is very fizzy. The water's very harsh. I have to sip on it slowly. It goes down really easily. So, as I say, Aadil, I'm right there with you for second beer in 5 minutes.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, even though mine's a 440ml, I might join you as well, because this is very, very easy. It would be interesting to know what they've dry hopped this with. I know they said it had Citra, Idaho 7 and Magnum in it, but the nose came out as soon as I cracked the can, nice and strong. And it's sort of tropical fruits, but with a sweetness to it. So it's got that kind of, even in the nose, you can tell it's kind of got that little bit of creaminess, that Idaho 7 kicking in with that kind of creamy, coconutty sort of flavour that it brings to things. And in the flavour, it doesn't quite punch you with that sweetness as there is within the nose. That's dialed back just that little bit to give something a lot softer. And it's still nice and fruity. There is still an element of that creamy, sort of coconutty nature to it as well. But it almost feels like there's sort of very soft stone fruit in there as well. Just kind of middling things. Maybe, I don't know whether it's the combination of maybe something like mango and coconut together, but it's almost feeling a little bit sort of apricotty. You don't often get that sort of flavour. You know, we might sort of see a bit more peach and things like that, but you know, a bit of apricot in there as well. But it's so easy. It's, again, my camera is doing the things it did last week. It might have done it last year as well. Who knows?
It feels like a year since last week.
A lot has happened.
I feel like the week went.
Yeah, to be fair, we did record later last week, didn't we? So it hasn't been that long. But it is a little more orange than the camera is showing you. But I expected maybe just a bit of bitterness in there as well. And there is a very light amount of that towards the end. But actually, just that soft fruit, creamy flavour just is able to disappear by itself. And I just want to keep going back for it.
Yeah,
it's just very, very nice.
Yeah, the same with mine. It's like it satiates you. It's like it hasn't got a dry finish or anything, but it's like, yes, it's nice. You still got that like mouth coating, like butteriness, but it's like, no, I still want more. I brought 3 beers just in case, because it is the end of the world.
To be fair,
3 bears.
3 bears.
Yeah.
Goldilocks.
Actually, that's not true, because I have a couple of the beers I bought. I didn't actually take downstairs, and they don't need to be that cold.
Ooh. Well, I do have another in the fridge.
People, we can just crack open 8.
Yeah.
They're not, no, because then
I'll start live streaming at that point after the 6th one.
Yeah.
And then at 7 o'clock in the morning, when we all realise that we've rolled into another day, I don't think my computer's got enough memory for all of that.
Absolutely not.
So, I just want to kind of start this week. Obviously, we've got like a world pandemic, coronavirus is running rampant, and things in the UK are starting to ramp up as well in terms of response to that. And a lot has kind of happened over the last couple of days with regard to sort of small businesses, pubs, restaurants, tap rooms, with people who work in offices. You know, a lot of people now remote working from home. And that's not always something that, especially kind of in the brewing side of things, that is feasible to do. You know, 'cause people are working kind of in the brewery and things.
It's an on-site job for the most people.
Exactly. A lot of breweries have come out with sort of statements and with various things saying, yes, we're still going to be working. We're taking as many precautions as possible. We're giving all of our staff whatever they need and supporting them. And that's absolutely brilliant. But I wanted to highlight just a couple of small things that we that have come up from a couple of breweries on posted on Instagram. I think they probably put it over on Twitter as well. The first is sort of as a local brewery, Left-Handed Giant, whilst they're looking at their brew pub not being open, they're still doing deliveries. And they've decided to do bike deliveries, and they're doing free bike deliveries if you live within a 3-mile radius of the brew pub. That kind of gives their workers some form of employment still, you know, rather than saying, right, I'm sorry, the brew pub's got to close, see you all when we can get you back. it's really good for them to find something else, some other way to keep people employed. And I think it's just a nice little sort of gesture to their employees, and also to their customers, that they can kind of find a way to be able to do that. And I think it's a trend we're going to see quite a lot of with smaller places like this, where the pubs and bars and tap rooms and things start to do a lot more takeout. I know Staggeringly Good down in, where are they? They're Brighton way as well, aren't they? They're doing like a drive-through kind of thing. So basically, you like pull up to the brewery. They'll it might not throw stuff out, but they'll bring stuff out to you, and you can and you go on your way. And I think as well, Pressure Drop have essentially said. Let me find the Instagram post that they actually put up. But they are basically saying that for every order of 15 cans or more, and that is quite a reasonable amount of kind of cans to buy maybe for a week or 2 weeks, but it seems like a reasonable number to allow them to be able to operate this. For every 15 cans bought or more, they will forward £25 of credit to an independent pub, restaurant or retail outlet of your choice. So they're trying to kind of pay forward what they're making, and trying to help support other businesses which may not have it quite as easy as they may at this time. And I think it's kind of really good to see the community sort of picking up, adapting, rallying around each other, and kind of just getting together to make the best out of this situation.
Yeah, and just to piggyback off of that, I mean, this is the current situation is today. Like, an hour before we started recording, just went on Instagram. It was like, okay, we're all doing reduced hours. I bet like in a day's time, it's like, no, we're just shutting completely. Yeah. I saw a great way, which I didn't think of, to support independence at this time, is to buy a gift card. Just buy a gift card, put that money in their account now, use it in 6 months later, or in the Thunderdome, which I'm sure we'll all be in a year's time. Try and trade that for your life or something like that.
Yeah, make sure you've got a physical card as well, so you can actually use it for something, to pick the lock on your cell when you've been taken away, or...
But that's a good way of, like, as you say, paying forward, and make sure they've got the money in now, and then I'm sure when this all blows over, which I'm sure it will, hopefully. I say blows over very flippantly. When this pandemic and these problems subside slightly, can be used then. But so many places are just like, oh yeah, we're going to start doing delivery to not just, as you said with LHG and 3 mile radius, just the whole of, like, I saw the whole of B postcode. It's like Birmingham. It's like Birmingham's not a small city. It's like, and they're doing free delivery, it's like...
But also, that's not
it seems
the best
like desperate
for
times.
Spread of virus.
Yeah.
You gotta be really careful about where you're sending delivery people.
Yeah, absolutely. And how they interact with people at the other end as well. I know on the Left-Handed Giant post, they said, let us know in your order notes where we can deliver it, and then we will leave, or at least we can be out on the street.
You and say,
we'll let you know when we're going to be with you, and taking steps to make it as sort of as smooth as possible, to ensure that there is still that level of isolation for people.
Reasonably, these are small places and not Amazon that can be delivering everywhere. It's for the people who are in the know and people who care. So
Absolutely. I mean, I ordered...
I down every package anyway. Do that anyway. Yeah.
I did an Amazon order a couple of days ago for a few little things, just for Evelyn, knowing that we were, going into self-isolation for a couple of weeks, and thinking, well, I can get a couple of like little activity books and maybe a board game or something like that. And the Amazon driver or delivery guy today knocked on the door, and as I opened the door, he was stood back as far as he possibly could with the parcel outstretched towards me, and I kind of stood as far back as I could and took it from him.
That's really funny.
To be honest, they used to throw that stuff over the, into the garden or in the bins. It's like, oh no, you've been given guidance to actually deliver properly. So
yes, yeah.
I mean, this is the dystopian future I always wanted with no human contact, but it's not exactly under the.
This isn't quite how you envisioned it.
No. I was hoping everything would just be like this anyway. You know? Like, drop it on my front doorstep, please. You know. Usually, I would be like, yes, hello. You know, I'm not.
Yeah, just give a cursory nod.
But yeah, but it's like, now we can go all the way. Otherwise, I would have just been like, if there was the option to like, oh no, just leave it on the front doorstep. I would never do that because I just think that's rude. Yeah. But now that we have an excuse to do it, I think it's brilliant.
But just drop it on the doorstep, knock on the door, and step back into the street, or a metre away. I suppose.
I get a fishing pole, just lower it outside my window.
There's a big barge hook, just to pull everything in. I bet Amazon at the moment are wishing that those drones had taken off.
Yeah. To gun us down, if anything. Probably scan you for corona and gun you down.
Oh, let's move on from this. It is brilliant that the communities are kind of coming together, and we see this in games as well, with a lot of studios allowing their employees to go to remote working to adapt to what they're doing and things.
Quick aside, did you see? Is his name Terry? Oh gosh, I can't remember his surname or even
Kavanagh.
Kavanagh, yes.
The Terry Kavanagh.
The Terry Kavanagh,
maker of and Super Hexagon, mate.
And
I think we did about 16 episodes on Super Hexagon when we first started the podcast.
It's almost like it was the only game I was playing, and so thought I had to talk about the game I was playing. Really.
But he gave away 1,000 copies of Super Hexagon,
wow,
and Dicey Dungeons, because he was like, you know what, it's terrible times. Here's 1,000 free copies on each of these games.
That's really
nice.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, I took a one because I actually don't own that game. I know it's open source.
I haven't played it.
Yeah,
no,
there's
I wouldn't believe that at all.
There's several different versions of that game as well, isn't there?
I'm not sure, but I know
like
that
VVVV Plus,
Special Edition, Deluxe Edition. But I know it went open source a few months ago. But I don't actually own that game, so I was just like, yeah. I really wanted Dicey Dungeons, but those had already gone by the time.
Yeah.
Right.
Plus, I've been holding out for that game on Switch, and that was announced to be coming to Switch today in the Nintendo Indie Direct that happened earlier today. So, but yeah, I thought that was really nice. Really nice.
It's a really good gesture. Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of publishers have been like, oh yeah, here's our game for cheaper, and it's like, part of me is just like, are you like capitalizing on like
pandemic?
Yeah.
Even
if you sell it for cheap, it just seems still a bit sleazy. But to give like your game away, and not just one of your games, like you could have given away Super Hexagon is always game away or something like that, and it's like, well, people might get interested in this and buy Dicey Dungeons. It's like, no, all of his games were just like free, so there wasn't even like a hint of capitalist greed in that. He was just like, no, here you go, crappy times, play something.
That's awesome.
So I thought that was nice.
I don't know. I don't own Dicey Dungeons.
You will soon in Humble.
Yeah, more than likely.
I might actually have a code and just never quite.
Straddling these two different industries as we do, both of them will have very different responses as well to this. Obviously, as you say, Aadil, a lot of the brewery stuff is on site, and some office and that kind of stuff can do remote working, whereas I would imagine a lot of people within the video game industry can do some form of remote working. Some people can't, whether you're doing music and your full studio setup is at your place of work, so it's a bit harder for you to be able to kind of to keep going with that. Not everyone will have at home those high powered sort of machines that they need to be able to do kind of what they're doing, like the animation and all those sorts of things. But people will
got a PC at the right time.
You did, mate. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. People will always adapt to this, and hopefully those sort of in the brewing side, having to be at at their place of work with everyone else and not being able to kind of self-isolate to be able to make a living and still be able to afford things, are kind of kept as safe as possible during this time. And then everyone being able to remote work is able to do so comfortably as well. Definitely one thing I found when I started working for myself was it's very, very easy just to go and do another couple of hours of work in an evening, and suddenly I've done a 12-hour day. And that can then continue through for the whole week or 2 weeks, and if you're not careful, suddenly you've done like a 70-hour week without really thinking about it. And and when I was doing all of that, I was absolutely sort of shattered, and did so because I was building my business up at the time. And hopefully a lot of these kind of ideas about crunch in the gaming industry and stuff don't push over too much into people working from home, because it is super easy to do.
Yeah. And the inverse of that, I hope that after this, the UK, like a lot of businesses in the UK realise that, you leave people to their own devices, their own schedules, they're far more productive than if they're doing a 9 to 5. People can have children and keep their careers and work around commitments and just be overall happier than working a 35, 40 hour week, Because we have the technology, we have the means now. It's suddenly convenient. How many businesses are like, you can work from home, when they apparently didn't have the capacity before. I only took a global pandemic for you people to, get your whips away.
Yeah, absolutely.
Flogging people to death in the office, but that's just me and my gripes.
Should we talk about some video games?
No.
Oh no.
Why would you suggest such a thing?
That's fine. How are you both doing on beers? Do we need to open another beer?
Yes.
Yeah. I did actually play. I've played a couple mobile games.
Ooh.
That I forgot about until I said, "Oh no."
What did you play?
Well, let's open some beers and let you take a look at
I couldn't contain my excitement whenever Aadil said he actually played a game.
Yeah, I mean the sad thing is they're very similar, and I may have talked about one of them years ago.
It's like the lunar eclipse.
Well, so I picked another green beer.
Ooh.
This one from Firestone Walker Brewing, which is from Paso Robles in California, USA.
I haven't had one of their beers in ages.
No, I haven't.
5.9% IPA. It's the Luponic Distortion, their IPA series number 13.
Sorry, carry on.
Flavors through hops, hints of pina colada, key lime, and nectarine.
Yeah, I was about to say the only one that I've had recently are the ones that I've seen in supermarkets, and I believe Luponic Distortion is one of them.
What supermarkets are they in?
Tesco.
Really?
Yeah, I've definitely picked up one of the Luponic Distortion from Tesco.
Oh,
Actually,
nice.
So you're familiar with this?
Yes. Because when you said green can and you said Luponic Distortion, I was like, yep, I remember that.
It just clicked.
Because they have a yellow one and they have a green one at Tesco.
It's got
That's a different can.
A bear and a lion fighting across a distortion.
Nice.
Which is weird because I would assume Luponic is much more like Lupine, which is a wolf.
Werewolf, yeah.
Yeah. And a lions and tigers and bears. Oh my! No, there's no lion, tigers, and wolves.
Who knows, mate? Who knows?
Doesn't it mean like hoppy, like lupo? Isn't that like hot? To do hop?
Probably.
Probably is, yeah.
Oh, lupine is wolf. It's a good name anyway.
There's
Lupin, lupo. You know.
Beavertown beer, isn't there? Lupuloid. Yeah. You're probably right, Lucy, as usual.
Hops. No, but is there a word? Luponic?
Who knows?
I don't know. I know lupine is the word for
wolves. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lucy, what are you drinking?
Bovine and ursine and.
Yeah, as I say, it's weird that there's a bear on the thing because it's not ursonic.
What's a thumb?
A thumb?
Yeah. What ein is that? I don't know. Anyway, my beer's called Thumb Man.
There we go. I was like, just tell us the beer.
Yeah.
I think it'd be Pollux. This is true. Dr. Pollux. You asked.
Fish.
Yeah, I did ask.
Don't fucking look at me like you didn't ask.
And it's from Pamona Island, which we've had a few of their beers between me and you, Aadil. It is a pale, and
It's more like a can to me.
it is. It's a pale colour can because it's yellow. And it says on the back, "He's back, the man, the legend, the thumb, an unopposable combo of Cryo, Amarillo, Chinook, and Mosaic make this double dry hop pale, unlike our Eponius hero, deliciously chinable." What?
What?
Chinable? Anyway, but take your time and savour the juicy mouthfeel and resinous hop profile, fermented with London fog.
Ooh.
Yeah, this is from Pamona Island in Salford. Yeah, as it said, Chinook and Mosaic and Cryo Amarillo. So, yeah, it is a 440 can and it is 5.6%.
Lovely.
The illustration is at Mako Design, and it is just a picture of a thumb. It looks like
I
Ben.
think you need to erase it up.
Because Ben doesn't have a beard anymore.
Can you erase it? Oh yeah,
It looked like a thumb.
Yeah.
How was it? Hang on.
Yeah, there we go.
Screenshot that.
Oh, right. I've cracked my beer. I'm going to pour it. I am drinking the Northern Monk Patrons and Deya and Tank Petrol collaboration, Mortal Plains. Double dry hop, double IPA. It is 8.2%, and it's got Idaho 7, Azaka, and Citra in it. I've not had a Patrons beer for ages.
Yeah, me neither, actually.
I might have just put that in the fridge. I don't know.
Ooh, it's the one with the woman with her head in her hands.
You think I can remember what I actually saw in that can?
But I read the word Deya, and I'm like, yes, I'll have that one. Thank you very much.
Well done.
And I haven't had a Patrons beer in so long
I know.
that I haven't realised that they've now done this cool peel you can here,
Oh,
and it's full of info.
Jesus. On like the artist
inside on everything in the can. So I mean,
You've
I'm
just
gonna have
blown my mind.
to. I know, mate.
I've always seen that peel here
You've
recently.
never done it.
I have no idea. I was like, why? Why would I peel?
It's how with the times we are.
That's like a reverse video game cover.
Oh, Beer's gone the opposite direction, and they're giving us manuals now. Unlike video games, where you no longer have manuals to be able to write notes in or circle button combinations, and
good times.
yes. I mean, for me to try and find some flavor text now within all of this.
No, read it out. Read it all.
Read the whole thing.
The whole thing. It gives me a little bit on Deya, a little bit on tank, Petrol, a little bit on... Oh, there's notes from the brewer. So brewed in the north with Brian Dixon. He's Brethren number 2. And then just tells you about Northern Monk patrons, the initiative. But it does tell me, patron name, Tank Petrol, collaborating brewery, Deya, hops and adjuncts, Idaho 7, Azaka, Citra, ingredients, malted barley, oats, wheat, hops, maltodextrin, and yeast. 8.2%. The original gravity is 1.086, 8 EBCs, and 20 IBUs.
I think that's really fascinating, really. It's like one of those things, hark back to video games, it's like probably like 2% of people are going to see that, like 2% of people are actually going to see the end of the game. You know, put like, I don't know, some audio logs or lore in the game. It's like nobody's actually seen this. But yeah, for the people who are seeking that out, I think that's really cool. It's really,
absolutely.
Instead of just going on their website, it's cool that it's there on the can.
Aadil, we'll come back to you.
Yeah.
And the Firestone Walker.
Look at it. It's very clear.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look, I'm flipping you off. You can tell because it's got minimal head. Nose is really light, almost like a little bit of citrus and something kind of flowery. Boy, is this is supposed to be an IPA. It's really light still. It definitely has that citrus coming through in a sweetness, a sweet citrus, which, given that they've told me it's key lime, I'm not surprised. I also immediately felt that coconut coming through, which they called pina colada. It just feels like a light coconut. The hops are kind of, for like an IPA series, I thought maybe it'd be a more in-your-face IPA, but it's actually well balanced and kind of more detracted than I was expecting. Again, a little, I would say there's some sort of tropical stone fruit taste there as well. Like a little bit of both. I guess that's why the coconut, pina colada, and nectarine, whatever, it says it on the tin. But it also fades really quickly. Leaves a light bitterness lingering, such that it doesn't not taste like an IPA. It's not drying the mouth at all. But because that taste curve is really quick, so such it's just a light bitterness at the end, I'm kind of like, well, remember what I said about the last one?
Yeah.
This one won't last that long either. It's really refreshing. It's really refreshing. I like that it has those things going on. They're detectable. They're not really distinct from each other, but they're more distinct than like the mango and the tea were in the last one. The last one was just like, right, there's mango and tea. I can push through to see how these taste together. This is like, there's the lime, there's the coconut. Oh, put them all up.
Is it in a 355 can as well?
Yeah.
Yeah. Go enjoy those American beers, just that little bit extra.
I mean, it's 5.9% versus last one's 5.2, but it drinks lighter. Which is kind of, I mean, again, also the fact that it's super clear American market, it kind of makes sense. Yeah, but it's pretty tasty. I like that there are multiple tastes going on. I dislike that it doesn't finish very strongly, and again, that hoppiness is there, but it kind of could just easily be a slightly hoppier pale ale. Like, it doesn't really taste like an IPA in that strong sense. So.
And the Luponic Distortion, when you did mention that it is a series,
Yes,
so I imagine you have series number 15, did you say?
13.
13. Yeah, they've had these series from, so I probably tasted an older series.
Right.
Yeah.
Because, the can art was like very different to what I remember.
Do you recall anything about it?
I just remember it being very IPA, but as I say, it's been years. It had that and just like a nice bitterness at the end. So, it harked back to me more than any distinctive flavour or anything standing out. But I enjoyed it.
So they remix it every 90 days.
Right. Oh. Okay.
So this probably tastes quite a bit different from what you had, given that you didn't have it super recently, right?
No, yeah, it's been a few years, I know.
Yeah, so you must have had one of the OG ones.
Yeah, I mean, if they're putting out sort of, 4 a year roughly.
Yeah, right.
And you might be sort of, 8, 9, 10, 12 kind of, iterations, difference between the two that you've had, sort of thing. So,
behind the times as always.
No, Lucy.
No, you were ahead of them.
You're ahead of them with your new Pamona Island artwork cans.
Yes, the Thumb Man.
Yeah, how do thumb taste?
Depends where they've been, but this is complete opposite to yours, Aadil. It's opaque. You can't see anything through it. It's got
it looks like a brick of yellow.
Yeah, it's probably a bit lighter from where you're coming from, but looks orange from where I'm at. But yeah, it didn't really pour much of the head. But yeah, it's got a nice light citrusy smell. That's really nice. It's very subtle, but you can smell like orange peel though. If you give it a deep enough whiff, it's like, it reminds me of like is it what box of chocolates is it where you have that like orange licorice chocolate? I don't know because I don't eat any of them. Fruit in Quality Street or something like that. But because fruit and chocolate is just a disgusting combination. Nobody should ever have. But it smells like that. Got that nice deep orange peel smell.
I assume you mean that unless it's like a raspberry chocolate stout or something.
Yeah, that's fine because it's a beer. It's not a chocolate. You're getting something out of the end of it. You're not just diabetes. Well, you are with beer as well, but anyway. You won't know it because you'll be drunk enough. But anyway. Yeah, it's got a nice bitterness at the end. Nice piney bitterness.
I haven't had a piney beer in a while. I know what you're going to say. That's because I've just been fucking drinking stouts for a stretch. But like... Yeah.
Mr. Sam Porter Bridges, you need to be getting on the IPAs. Recently I've just been buying IPAs. I haven't bought any stouts. I'm in the mood for juicy IPAs.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, this is one of those. It's. I think the piney bitterness is more prevalent than any fruitiness at the start of it, but you're definitely getting a softness, a smoothness at the start. You're not getting a lot of fruit. There's probably more fruit on the aroma rather than in the taste, but yeah, this is a good beer. It's good. It's a good beer. It's
good.
I might have wanted a bit more hoppy and a bit brute at the start, because it is a pale. But otherwise, it is just easy drinking. It's soft. It's not too heavy. It's only only 5.6%. Yeah, 5.6%. So you could drink it like a session beer, honestly. Right. But maybe I'm getting a bit of that fruit now on the aftertaste. After that piney bitterness has subsided a little. Tasting a little bit of that alcohol, but yeah, it's not the best balanced beer in the world, but I like that piney bitterness. It does that very well. Nice. It gives a nice herbally fresh taste to it. So yeah, good. I like it.
Cool.
Good.
I'm not gonna blow your mind, but do the job.
Yeah, that's what you need right now. I don't know whether this is going to blow my mind. It smells like it is. It's very, very soft on the nose. Did they say it was double dry hopped as well? I think they did. Yeah, double dry hop, double IPA. It's very, very soft. It's a soft, fruity nose. And you can see sort of it's thick. It's a little bit darker than the last beer. It's almost, as we were talking about with one of the beers last week, that solid block of colour. This has got a little more depth to it, but it's very, very much getting there. Very small head to it as well, very light. Oh, fucking hell. So that's lovely. It's juicy. It's a big juicy double IPA.
Excellent.
Even in that juiciness, it still has a softness to it. Again, I don't know. Both of the beers I've had so far have had Idaho 7 in. The previous beer, it was coming through a bit more. You were getting that coconut in there, getting a little bit of sweetness, getting a creaminess from it. That isn't pushing through so much. It is not in mouthfeel and in body. It does have a creamy element to it, but I'd imagine that's more of the malt build than say like the Idaho 7. But
yeah,
it's super smooth. The fruit kind of bursts in your mouth straight away. And there's a lot of different things going on there as well. A lot of very hard to pick out fruits, but it's all, within the realms of tropical fruit. I think that coconut, it is peeking through, and it kind of is just lifting everything, so everything sticks around maybe a little bit longer than it would do otherwise without that, perhaps. And it just makes it a little bit more pronounced, all of that big fruity sort of flavour to it. But it's got a lovely smooth, slightly viscous mouthfeel to it. It's super easy to drink. Absolutely. I've had another sip. I was going to say absolutely no idea that it's 8.2%, but...
Oh, wow.
It does... You can get that right at the end of the flavour. It starts to go just as I took a sip of it. It had just crept in just before I swigged it, and now I know it's there. I am getting it a little bit, but it's really well masked, and it's underneath kind of everything else. It's only because I'm looking for it to see if it is there that I can kind of notice it a little bit more. But it's so easy. Super, super easy.
Problem with the day. Too many easy drinking.
Yeah, I was going to say.
So when we all have to have a hard cut to go and get our beers, because I do have another beer in the fridge.
I do as well.
So I would have to disappear for it.
That's fine. That's fine. Entertain the folks by also leaving and probably going to the toilet or something.
Have a little sing, do something, play the Switch on the toilet. Switch the camera over to your phone so you can phone. No, don't do that. Let's shift gears very slightly. Lucy, I know you said you've got a few games to talk about this week. I want to start with House Flipper because obviously we ended the episode last week with it, and you've had more time with it now.
I didn't actually play it between last week and now, but I do want to talk about the probably about 10 hours I probably spent with it prior to that. It is I guess in all intents and purposes, it's a simulation game. It is a game where you are house flipping. You can buy houses, do them up, sell them onto prospective clients, and there's also another portion of the game where you are just going into people's houses and doing menial tasks for them. It's like, I want the bedroom knocked down into... I want these two different bedrooms knocked down and make it one big bedroom, or I want all the mess cleared out of it. I want all these boxes gone, these cockroaches hoovered up. I want windows cleaned. So it is just it's repetitive and it's menial, but I mean those in the most cathartic, relaxing way. It is something where it's just like, yep, I'm gonna answer this email from this person who's like, yeah, can you just go clean out these boxes, these pizza boxes? Just go into the house, click a few buttons, job done, get paid, on to the next job. It's very much a podcast game where it's like, I'm just gonna zone out, listen to something, and just almost a clicker game where you're just clicking on this stuff and just doing it. It's very low impact. There's not any confusing mechanics or systems. It's like a couple of buttons and you're done.
You say that you're paid for these jobs.
Yeah.
Is it like my job where I'm paid and I just spend my money on food and baby child's clothes and things like that, or is there something cool in the game to actually buy that you can enjoy?
No, I think the most you can buy
so it is like my life.
Yeah, yes. The most you can buy is a new office, or which is in just another house, because at the very start of the game you're given this very derelict, crappy house at the start, and it's like, there's your laptop. I didn't even clean up my own house. I just went straight to the laptop and started, here are my jobs. But once you get paid, that unlocks the other aspect of the game. It's like, okay, I'm going to buy houses, and it becomes more a real estate game. It's like, I'm going to buy houses, do them up, and sell them to prospective clients. This certain family, you're given like notes of like what this buyer wants. Okay, this buyer wants a big house. They want 4 bedrooms at least. They want an open living room. They want at least 2 TVs and stuff like that. So you can design. It's kind of like The Sims. You can design. It is a preset house. You're not building the like exterior of the house.
Okay.
The actual foundations. You can knock down like portions of the house. You can knock down like partitions between rooms and stuff like that, and add new ones. But it's not like it's not the overall view of The Sims, like an isometric view.
Yeah, you're not doing like a big loft extension or two-story rear extension on the back for extra bedrooms and stuff.
Yeah, it's not that in depth. But you're given the list of things of what this client wants, and it's like, okay, it's up to you to install those things. Like installing appliances, I think there's 3 levels of difficulty that you can do in the options, but even on the hardest difficulty, it's not anything. It's not like, I don't know, Car Mechanic Simulator 2012 or something like that, where you're really getting into the nitty gritty. It's like left to your own devices. You have to know the ins and outs of an actual automobile. It's like, no, here's the radiator. You hold down R2 as we pan over to, it's gonna install this little duct or something like that. And it's like, you're just literally holding down a button on the easiest setting, and on the hardest setting it's not much more than that.
You don't have to get into kind of like some of these more management like Factorio and stuff like that, where you have to know where the flow of water is coming in, and you have to hook the radiator up the correct way, kind of thing. It doesn't quite get into that depth. No, okay.
No, and that's the whole charm of the game. It's not meant to be taxing. It's not meant to be complicated. It's not meant to be for people who are plumbers or carpenters or anything like that. It's not specialized in that way. It's very much, you're living out the fantasy of just doing up houses.
Yeah.
And it's it's so relaxing. It's one of the most relaxing games I've ever played. It's like, I'm just gonna do this stuff which would be awful in real life, hoovering up cockroaches, but it's just so cathartic. It's got like some really good ASMR like sound effects. It's like, the sound design really good. The number of options, because it's like, it seems a very rudimentary game, but it's like, oh no, you built up quite a few decent quality of life options. It's like, I can just search the store. I was playing on Xbox, and oh, when I searched the store, it came up with the, the text bar, and it's like, oh, if I'm streaming this to my laptop, I can just literally just write on my laptop, I want to search for this, and it just comes up, and it's just so yeah, it's a nice game. I think the only options I would have wanted was to see what you last purchased in the store, so you could just literally go back to that, because it's like, oh, I've run out of paint. Now I have to search for this colour paint again in the store. Yeah. Even though there's a text bar, and it's like I can just type it in quickly if I'm streaming it to my laptop or something like that.
But if you're not, I mean...
If you're not, yeah, exactly. You're going to have to search through that and stuff. That's long. And it's weird, but they only have, like, one preset of, like, character. You only really see your arms in the game, but it's always some white dude's arms. And it's like...
first person?
It's first person.
Oh, right,
like when you're, with a roller, it's like maybe you could have just added, like, I don't know, sex options or different colour skins. Yeah, just
different colours, different hair colours.
Literally introducing
skins. You don't even need to see your hair. Yeah, it's literally introducing skin. But yeah. But other than that, yeah, didn't really want anything else from the game.
Yeah, I mean, just looking through the negative reviews on Steam, and it's just essays. I'm not going to bother reading.
I think the people
there's so many disgruntled architects playing this game.
I think the target audience for this would probably be like, oh, but wait, I thought this was in depth.
Yeah, so there's a lot of those, but also apparently the PC port is really demanding, so a lot of people are talking about like 10 FPS or needing a high run. So I think that's worth knowing compared to the Xboxers out there.
I mean, it's really, none of the textures or assets are very, involved or anything, so it runs fine on Xbox.
Yeah,
because I thought it was the same on PC. I didn't think anything was. This is not a Red Dead Redemption looking game.
I think it's probably just the port, and like one of the reviewers said after playing 101 hours, said a very original and great game, but after they updated it, I get speeds of 10 FPS and barely play the game anymore.
Maybe
so I mean and the other thing that someone noted was that landscaping is entirely a DLC package you have to pay for.
Oh.
Which seems like you're not really flipping a house if you're not doing the yard, because
yeah, absolutely.
Front yard sells the house.
There's definitely like garden simulator or something.
Well, like as a separate game, garden simulator. Oh dear.
Yeah, he was talking about garden landscaping.
Yes.
Right, yeah, so there's a DLC apparently that is landscaping, and some people are cross that it's not part of the main game because that's part of flipping houses. I mean, I guess one of the complaints was all of the houses you get to have unkempt yards and you can't do anything about it.
Oh, wow. And then
and then you buy the DLC to do something about it, which, to be fair, does sound a little shady.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's because everything's overgrown, so there's more shade.
Also, that does work out very well with the disciplines of architecture and sort of like general builders as well. Really, if a client comes to me and says, "Hey, can you do an extension, please?" and I start doing some drawings, and they go, "So we're thinking of doing a garden as well." And I go, "Yeah, that's extra."
That's not my fucking problem. Sorry, this is why I don't work. This is why I try. I don't work in a super people-facing industry. He says, as a person who's only employed as teaching. Shut up. There's an authority there. It's fine.
I certainly don't. Yeah, I can understand. That does seem a little sleazy.
I mean, we had a plumber in because I still don't have a shower. It's been 5 weeks.
Still.
Yeah.
Mario hasn't come along.
No. God. So we got a local
Call
Mario.
Luigi.
Yeah.
God, he's reliable.
This guy actually
knows
our landlord through other things and had some stories to tell. which was like, that makes sense. He outright said, I wouldn't, if he was paying the bill, I wouldn't work for him.
Oh.
Yeah. Anyway,
landlord.
but he.
I'm a good landlord in House Flipper.
Yeah.
Because
sure
I don't rent them, I just sell them, so I'm responsible.
Fair enough.
Good. Let's move on from House Flipper.
Yeah. Let's flip over to the other channel.
Yeah. Lucy, again, I know you had a few games to talk about, one of which you said wouldn't take very long.
Yeah.
What was that one?
That was Murder by Numbers.
Oh.
Because it's a very simple concept. It's like a visual novel, Picross.
Oh, cool.
It's made by the same people who made Hatful Boyfriend, the pigeon dating game. There's no pigeons in this game. There's no dating, really. It is a murder mystery, like, kind of Phoenix Wright kind of visual novel where there's very minimal mechanics, so you're not really solving crises. It's even less. It's right, I guess.
It's just the story happens to be crime solving. But you're progressing the plot.
Yes. You are. The main mechanic is where you have this sidekick bot called Scout, who is the best new character of 2020.
Really?
Yeah, he's adorable. And I was very...
I'm trying to think of other new characters in 2020.
It doesn't matter, Scout's the best one. But he's basically scanning the environment. You scan like moving the left stick. I played it on Switch. And when you find something, it turns into a Picross. But when you solve the puzzle, I should say Picross. It's nonograms. That's the actual name of the puzzle. It's just Nintendo. Yeah.
I mean, that's like saying like a monster collecting game.
Yeah, it's like saying a Hoover rather than vacuum. But it turns into this Picross puzzle. And when you finish the Picross puzzle, it reveals, it's a key card. It's a key fob. it's a dead body. It's this, it's that.
I was hoping everything was just a key.
There are quite a few key fobs.
So that seems like a cool element, that actually what you're the image that you're making or the image that you're producing actually relates to
in that Picross way, where it's like very pixelated. It's like this could be a pigeon, or it could be a plastic bag, or a Mona Lisa. It
could be a collection of squares.
Yes, basically. You can't tell what it is until it's like, it reveals the picture. And it's like, it's a flower. It's like, I wouldn't have guessed. But I just the story's like really uplifting, and like, even though it's about murder mysteries, it's very campy. It's very pleasant. The music's great, and it's got. It's one of those games where you could just listen to a podcast where you're just solving Picross puzzle.
Right.
But it's like I never did that because I always loved listening to that music, even though it's loop. The music's fantastic. Really inclusive. It's got like good LGBT representation. There's some stuff where it's like, it's just like, there's been there's a big old stiletto shoe float that's being driven into this, drag club, and they're like, it's ridiculous, but they're like, this could be a, assault on a, it could be a homophobic related assault, and it's just like, it just says those things. It's like,
oh, cool.
Yeah, we're not gonna, beat around the bush and say, if you've got a problem with this, it's like, this is reality, and it's like, but it does it in a way where it's not like, there's no message. I think people think, like, a lot of gamers think, you're including women or people of other sexes, races. There's an agenda. It's like, no, this is just what it is.
Yeah. The agenda is representation. Pure and simple.
Yes. And it's like, they're not shying away from, like, it could be this. And it's like, but it's just like, no, that's just one of the realities of life, and that's it. So
these people exist, and there are crimes sometimes about them. So if a crime happens to one of them, we should consider whether it's a crime because of them. Like their identity. Yeah.
Exactly. But I'm sure a lot of people have issues with that, the capital G gamers. But anyway, it's got a good level of representation, which is refreshing and nice. It's not like anything needs to be said about it. It's just like, yeah, that would be something that would happen in this world. You know?
Absolutely.
There's one of the secondary characters is gay and overtly gay, and it's like, yeah, cool, done. That's it. Representation. Thank you. But yeah. But yeah, it's really.
That seems like the best kind of representation, really, doesn't it? Like, these people exist because they exist. I mean, we don't need to make a fucking big deal out of it. They are here. They are represented, and that's not make a big deal out of it in terms of us saying yes, this is good because of that.
Yeah, you don't want to put a hat
within the game.
Yeah, you don't want the game to be like, oh look, we're doing the thing.
You don't want to signpost it.
Yeah, in the same way that people don't actually want, like, they want representation for the protagonist. They're fine with representation for the antagonist, but really it's actually just, look, we're X% of the population, and it's weird when a game that's supposed to take place in this world has 0%. Actually what people want is like more ancillary characters and the odd protagonist, in the same way that ancillary characters and protagonists are white, straight, and male sometimes.
Exactly.
I'm not saying you can just get away with only doing that, but when you put a hat on it, where it's like, look, we put a gay guy, and then they have no real role except being the gay one. You're like, well, no, the point is they're a person who's integral to this game, and it's
absolutely.
And
exactly. It's like just very matter of fact. It's like this transgender woman, like drag queen, is like explaining to this poor robot, like, yes, there are different genders. He's like, why does it refer to me as a he? I'm a robot. They're just like, oh, well, it's a man's world, and it's just like, yeah, it's just very matter of fact, and it's nice to see. Yeah, but yeah,
that's really cool.
Picross overall, Picross is great. I really enjoyed it.
It's good that there's that central mechanic which is very, very simple, and it has this lovely, very well thought out, very well made wrapper around it. And the name sounded sort of familiar, and I did a quick I did a quick Google, and there's a film which it wasn't that. So it's published by the Irregular Corporation, who I've just emailed about their game called Good Company, which looks really good as well.
Gonna have to follow up on that, see what that's about.
Yeah, it's like a tycoon management game.
Yeah, cool.
Type thing.
Yeah. It's good.
So, I will read. There are 4 negative reviews.
Oh no!
But there's 100 positive reviews.
Oh, good.
Wow.
So this is an excruciatingly great ratio for a small game. So, one of them is from Committerer. Apart from the extremely weird pixel art style used in the puzzles, it's a Picross game. I don't know what you're talking about. I lost most of my progress by loading the wrong save, which then instantly overwrote the latest autosave.
That's every game.
So I was like, okay, so there's a bug. Your negative review.
Is it? Or did they just say new game?
Yeah, or they did a.
Because that's every game.
He hadn't saved his game. It was only on the auto save, and then he loaded the wrong one and actually saved over the auto save.
Yeah, that's true. You do have to manually save, but it also saves anyway.
User error.
That's user error, and you put a negative review.
Yeah, that's like
because every game's like they put the first thing like new game. I hate it. I hate this as well. Every game you start it up and it's like new game. It's like continue or new game. Some games the first thing is continue. Some games the first thing is new game.
Yeah,
and if it doesn't have multiple saves, exactly.
Yeah, autosave is really bad for that. The second review, someone who played 0.8 hours on record, their username is F semicolon. Loser.
I agree.
I do hope there is more to that, but I know there isn't.
Nope.
They're a loser. Yeah, they're a loser.
And then, for some reason, I'm not getting the fourth negative review. The other one is basically they didn't like that the puzzles got really hard near the end.
I can sympathise with that because I'm somehow good at Picross. I don't need any hints or anything like that. Weird. I can't do Sudoku for hell, but I can.
I find Picross easier than Sudoku as well.
Absolutely, but yeah, it's a bit weird where it's like, oh, we're gonna find out who killed everybody and who's the center of this whole crime epic, and then you're doing a 15 by 20 cross puzzle and it takes like half an hour. Yeah. Like, okay, it really just interrupts.
Yeah, I mean, I think if I was interested in the narrative, I might be frustrated by my sudden inability to do Picross, but also
the thing is with the narrative, it's set in like 1996, and it's very 1996. Like it's very campy,
now I really
and it's
play
like
this game.
it's very It's like, this is stupid, you know. It's not really. Oh, I'm reading a crime thriller. By Michael Crichton or something like this. This is like very stupid, 90s pulpy kind of nonsense. I mean, the main character
John Hammond slamming his cane into the floor at random points.
The main character is she used to be a TV actress on a crime-solving TV show.
Oh, she's Bones.
And, yes, and she suddenly decided to become a private investigator, which doesn't happen.
I guess that's more like Castle. Because that's literally the plot of Castle, is Nathan Fillion.
I've not seen that. I've not seen
Nathan
Castle.
Fillion.
I know it's Nathan Fillion,
yeah. A crime writer who joins the police to help.
So it's Alan Wake.
It's a postmodern fucking world, isn't it?
Except they're going to cancel the post soon because of Corona. It's just going to go back to being a modern world.
I'm already training my pigeon
to be your boyfriend.
No, to carry a pigeon.
No, the pigeon's already her boyfriend. That's how she got the pigeon. She's just training her boyfriend, who happens to be a pigeon.
I played some of that Hat Boyfriend, and I tell you what, I couldn't. I just couldn't. I could not.
I believe that's a very niche market.
Very niche. I hope very niche.
More niche than us, in fact, I think.
I think that was episode 182.
Not that long ago, then.
Well, because we talked about KFC dating simulator, and then you told us about your Hatterful thing. That episode. Thanks, Ben. Great title, entitled "Finger Licking Good."
Sequel.
No, was it really?
Yep.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
I'm gonna miss KFC in the apocalypse.
And they have vegan KFC now.
They do. Yes, they have vegan KFC.
I don't see the
That's
point.
definitely the start of the apocalypse.
I mean,
this is. I mean, I feel like the avian flu was God saw this coming.
Imagine that. It's like you roll up the KFC and they're like, "Oh, sorry, I only got."
Yeah. I mean, it's wrong that when I realized I had to go out and buy beer, that I was like, I wonder if a supermarket has Corona, so I could taste that for the first time on the pod. Right?
It's
you're
not
glad I
good.
avoided that joke.
It's
It's also like I would have to find a fresh lime because God, that
Get
beer is not good.
Desperado instead.
Then you could just sing the Eagles all night, and you'd be well away.
Yeah. All right, new plan.
Let's open more beers. Let's drink more beers.
Okay.
I think it's a 3 beer episode.
Yeah.
Adil, you look ready. Oh, hang on. What have you got?
You've got more.
Oh, not.
I've got a Moor.
Slightly different from mine.
Oh, but also purple. Wow, that is. They're like the same purple, I think. But mine is an. Oh, yours is more royal purple. Mine is a slightly. Yeah, you're right.
Yes.
You're right. Yeah, fine.
What have you got?
I've got the Moor Old Freddy Walker, which they just had in stock, even though it's March. At the place you recommended me that wasn't the wine one.
Brewer's Droop.
Yeah, thank you. It is a 7.3% rich, dark, full-bodied old ale, reminiscent of liquid Christmas pudding, savored all year round. It is champion winter beer of Britain from 2004, and won Roger Protz's 300 beers to try before you die. Usually the first to sell out at beers festivals, thanks to a spend of pale lager, crystal wheat, and black malts that are fermented with English yeasts and Bramling cross hops are added to provide a hint of orange and a balancing note of bitterness. That's not on the can. That's on the website, because I was like, I knew this. I remember seeing something about this one, so I did a quick Google. I'm like, oh, some people really like this beer.
I'm glad you've referenced a book that's called "So Many Beers to
Try Before You Die."
Yes.
There's a reason I picked this as my third.
Feels like it's very prescient. Lucy. What's your? I see you wiping it down. What's your next one?
Hell yeah.
You have to wipe it down in this economy.
Wipe your beers down. Everybody listening, wipe your beers down. Absolutely.
I mean, I washed it before I put it in the fridge, but as I always do. But anyway, it is from the Beer Plus Art series. I don't know how many of there have been. Let's see. And it's Pig Ears Beer Limited and Lost and Grounded. It's a Vienna style beer and it's 5.2%.
Nice.
It's got an old man on the beach. Black and white, I can. Very wholesome. And
is he going for a dip or has he come out of the sea?
He's watching the TV.
Oh.
TV on. I don't know how that works, but anyway. It says plus Sam Davis, and it says Sam graphic designer behind Lost and Grounded. He works closely with the brewery to bring the brand to life, with inspiration coming from great outdoor.
I don't know why she exploded at that moment in time.
Kelowna, which were then manipulated mixture of disciplines. So yeah, I'm guessing this is just put in front of the artist of the beers, which is a nice touch. Tasting notes: this Vienna style lager is smooth with biscuity malt notes, hopping with US Pacific craft. Delivers a new world take on traditional hops. Floral, grassy, and piney in equal measure.
I mean, I don't think you've noticed, Lucy, but
you're totally frozen, and
you're completely frozen.
That. Yeah.
I still with you?
We heard half of the flavor text as well. I mean, we've been talking about the end of the world. It's absolutely here. The internet is dying. Everything is falling apart.
Can I also?
It's a 3 beer episode. Yeah. It's just ended. It's gone.
Can I ask you? Oh, we lost. Ben? You're the one recording the video. Where?
Yes.
I keep meaning to ask where we're situated.
Oh, she's going completely.
Because like on my monitor, it's Lucy, Ben, Aadil.
Can I hear? Can you hear me now?
Yes. I can hear. Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah. Okay. Can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Good.
Where did I cut out? Because I read the whole can.
Yeah. That was kind of the best part.
I wouldn't worry about it. If
people want to know... it's on my recording. So.
Yeah.
It will be on the audio version, yeah.
We got most of your audio, and it was just that you were frozen afterwards. That was the big thing.
I saw that.
So Ben,
for inside baseball, well, not inside baseball, because if you watch the YouTube, as you're looking at your screen, Aadil is on the left, Lucy is in the middle, and I am on the right.
Right. So when you did the finger thing, and
when I did the finger thing, I'm pointing towards Lucy.
Yeah, and then I bit
and
the
then
far other side.
Aadil is over Lucy.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. That's interesting. That helps.
It's a beer.
Yeah. Oh, thanks, Lucy.
I'm going to open my beer. Wait.
Beer.
I'm going to open my beer. I have got another beer from Moor. 3 more beers this episode. I am drinking the barrel-aged...
We're having 3 more?
I mean...
I'm drinking the barrel-aged Fusion, which is an old ale. It's the 2018 vintage. It's 8%, and it has been aged in Calvados barrels. So, as with all of Moor's beers, there's fuck all on there. It tells me where it's brewed. It tells me it's got water, malted barley, malted wheat, hops, and yeast in it. And then it tells me that in several languages. It's got a bit of information on there. The can is conditioned with live yeast. It's unfined, unfiltered, and unpasteurized. I'm going to pour it into a glass and see what it is. It's an old ale. At 8%. It does... Oh, on the side.
Man, you're just... Between the bigger cans and higher percentages, even though I've picked up a 7.2, I'm just still not caught up.
I think the other beer I had in the fridge was only 7%, so I think I'd step it up, even though it is a smaller portion. But it does say on the side, aged for 150 days in Calvados barrels, 2018. So it does give you a little bit of kind of info. If that comes into focus, I don't think it was quite on my camera. But
I mean, you could tell by this more, it was not aged in any barrels. My beer.
Yes, back to you.
Quite a light on the nose, slight heavy sweetness, a little bit of like dried fruit. That's about it.
Okay. Short and snappy.
Oh wow, this is luxurious.
That's absolutely what you want to hear on every beer. Surely, it's luxurious.
Yeah. It's So one of my worries was Christmas pudding. Like sounds like it could be really overbearing.
Sweet. Yeah.
But this is sweet. It is definitely dried fruit sweet. But it, I mean, this is just a dark ale, right?
Yeah.
It's the alcohol works really well with the fruitiness. There's some chocolatey notes filling it out at the end. The dried fruits are less raisin, more date. But it's kind of hard to tell because basically it's just because raisins tend to have this really spiky sweetness, and it doesn't have that. It's got a really nice... the malts are just like, oh yeah, there's a malty beer, deal with it. And then there's a bit of a chocolate, just a touch of a chocolatey finish. And it's kind of sweet, which I think the higher alcohol content compared to the other beers I've been having. But it's actually... I think one of the reasons why it might be Christmas puddingy is that all these tastes are kind of condensed together, and they don't... It's not a give and take between them. It's like, these are happening now, and then they kind of don't. And so like there's a density of flavors, but it's not like drinking pudding. It's actually still quite wet. And it doesn't linger that long. That's not true. There's a little bit of, like I said, a little bit of a dark fruit sweetness that lingers. But overall, it's a really excellent blend of sweetness and malts. It is reminiscent of like a full winter dessert, but without sort of the heaviness. Like it's a full-bodied flavor without the like heaviness of the actual full body of these things. Which surprisingly, I think I can drink this 7.3% full-bodied ale also quickly because it doesn't have a long finish, and it doesn't feel like it doesn't feel filling. It's just like,
Sure.
there's just a lot going on in a short space of time. Oh, guess what I like? Experiencing that taste. I think I might not nurse this because I want to be in that taste space, and it doesn't linger in that sense, so I can easily do that. Not to say there isn't a finish, it's just what I like most about it is a little more forward. Yeah. Although there's a slight coffeeness in the lingering finish, which I think is just the bitter and the dried fruits taste sort of coming to a coffee-like thing. I don't think there's like a actual coffee note. It just reminds me of coffee. But yeah, that's a good fucking beer.
Nice, man. Good. Lucy, what comes to you?
Yeah, the head has just started to go down.
Oh wow!
It's producing these really big, pocketed bubbles, like really foamy. It's darker than your average lager. Almost looks like, like Belgian double, almost.
Yeah, it looks like sort of bronzy.
Yeah, definitely. Much darker and a bit browner, but still giving off quite a bit of carbonation. You can see the bubble. It's got that... It's got a bit of a roasty smell to it. Probably a bit more malty than the last lager that I had. Probably on condition of it being an IPL, but yeah. Still getting that, like, slight buttery, roasty kind of aromas. Yeah, definitely more malty. Taste-wise. Yeah, this tastes much more like a traditional lager. And just as soft and easy drinking, though. It's probably less crisp than the IPL that I had. It's got that very smooth, easy finish. You're not getting a lot of crispness to it, even though I can still see, the bubbles and the carbonation. It's not gassy. It's not fizzy or anything like that. It's very soft. And this just literally just came out the fridge as well. When we all were getting our third beers, so
right.
It's at a cold enough temperature, so it's not like it's had time to sit and get less carbonated, less fizzy. So yeah, this is really nice, really easy drinking lager. You're getting all those qualities of a lager as well. Probably a bit more deep and malty than the IPL, but you're still getting that like kind of clove smell, that clove taste. It's not quite like a Belgian double or triple, but I mean, it's not nearly as strong anyway. But you're definitely getting that kind of like Belgian yeasty kind of taste and aroma to it. It's really nice.
Good.
I mean, hold on. Just remembered, it's a Vienna style lager. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah. The lagers that I've had from last year, which aren't too plenty, but I can see that. Yeah. It's good. It's very nice.
Nice.
Yeah, they've said floral, grassy, and piney. I think I'm probably getting more of the floral rather than the grassy and the piney, but yeah, it's very good. I really...
Excellent.
If I could drink a lager, and if someone said, hand me a lager, it's like, yes, this is everything that I want from a lager. But if you're not... If you're very much more into your ales rather than your lagers now, I think this would convince you more so than the IPL, because the IPL just very much... I think the fruit forwardness of the IPL is very much... This is an IPA first, lager second, whereas this is very much a lager, but not too in your face, not too harsh. So yeah, this is good.
Good. I had to Google Calvados because I was unsure what Calvados was. No, Google, fuck off. My phone is now off because I just said the word Google. It's trying to Google I've just Googled.
Type of wine?
No, it's brandy. So
Right.
Calvados is an apple or pear brandy from Normandy in France. And you absolutely get that on the nose. It's very, very sweet. I mean, you could almost, if you didn't know what Calvados was, you could almost mistake it for a port. It's very close to that sort of sweetness.
Yes. I definitely
And I can see that with it being
remember.
like a pear or apple brandy, just having that extra little bit of sweetness to it. But it's a lovely, lovely nose.
It might have been in like a pear tart or something, Calvados pear or something. I've definitely heard of Calvados brandy.
Flavour wise, that nose is pure. You know, the Calvados barrels. It's pure sweet. It is that brandy. In the flavour, you're getting a lovely woody smokiness to it. And that sweetness is there, but it is pulled back so much by everything else. And I know it says it's an old ale, but it kind of it's almost sitting between a kind of like a smoky, roasted, very, very light stout, which is kind of barrel aged almost. You know, those extra elements, that slight sweetness from the brandy barrels is in there, but it is overtaken by that smokiness, and that's that is the big flavour in there, the one that is kind of dominating when you drink it, and it's not a harsh smokiness. I know we've all had beers where that smokiness has been a little bit too much, and it's kind of edged on that on that harsh kind of side. But this is very very smooth. The smokiness comes across more as a dryness and as a dominance, I suppose, within the end of the flavour. So when you go to sip it, you stick your nose in and you're getting all of those lovely sweet flavours to it. And when you sip it, you kind of go through and cut through that sweetness with that woody sort of tannin flavour to it. The smoky element comes into it a lot and sort of dominates. And then it kind of allows that sweetness just to creep back in a little bit. And again, style, old ale. What the fuck is old ale? If kind of just not really a style, almost just...
Do you think they just mean like the fact that it was aged in a barrel, so it's not like fresh from a still?
I don't know, because you have like barrel aged stuff, don't you? You have barrel aged stouts, barrel aged porters. It's not quite. I think they've gone. Well, this isn't. It's not a stout. It's not a porter. We're not there. It's not got that. You know, it's not got the stuff in it that would make it that. It doesn't have those qualities to it. It is much more of a, I would, maybe edging towards more of a traditional kind of ale, a slightly thinner, wetter, malty kind of beer. Right. But the barrel aging in this just dominates, and the tannins, the smokiness cuts through that sweetness. The sweetness is still there. It allows that to come through still. But there's just that really solid kind of woody backbone to it that just drives that flavour forward. And it, again, as with all of these beers this evening, it's very, very easy. It's not, as I say, it's not harsh. So you're not sipping it and going, oh, I'm getting smoky. Yeah, it is. You know, it goes. You stick your nose in, you get that lovely brandy sweetness from it, and it progresses through to going, okay, yes, I'm getting the tannins. Oh, now that cuts through with that smokiness. Okay, the sweetness is coming back through. Like this works its way through very, very well, and it's easy though. It's so easy. I mean, it may be 2 beers before this, but it's going back so quickly, and it gives me just a lasting smokiness and sweetness. So now I've had a few sips of it. That smokiness, which dominated at first, is cut back slightly to allow the sweetness to do a little bit more, to allow that brandy to just push through very slightly. It is edging almost on a port.
Right.
Exactly what I wanted this evening after a couple of beers.
Excellent.
This is a perfect session this evening. So we'll jump. Conscious of time a little bit, and I definitely want to get both of you back in. Aadil,
I'm fine. Don't worry. I'll talk about Ori next week. I
want to know about Ori. Have you not finished it? Okay, no, that makes things a little bit easier. I was going to title the episode "Ori and the End of the World," but
you still can.
We're not going to talk about Ori.
Ori's great. It's my favourite game of the year. So there you go. There you can title it.
Oh wow! Big props.
Not much else has come out this year, has it? And Doom's not.
That's true. Doom's in like a few days' time. Actually, on the day of release, Doom will have come out, so people may be playing Doom and listening to us. I suggest you do that. No, I don't actually, because Mick Gordon's soundtrack will be fucking stellar. So you just want to listen to that fucking music instead of us. So Aadil, you mentioned you'd played a couple of little mobile games.
Yeah, so one of them I'm sure I talked about before, but a friend reminded me it exists. It's called 2048.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Right? We've talked about that before.
Yeah.
It's just like a little 4x4 grid. A game starts with an advertisement? A game starts with two bricks in the 4x4 grid, like a 2 or a 4, depending on difficulty. And then every time you swipe in a direction, all the tiles will move all the way in that direction they can go. And then another thing will pop up, and then if they are the same type, they'll collapse together and add up. And the point is, you're trying to add up to 2048. And it's really addictive. You get to know the patterns really easily. You get to know like how to pile things up such that you'll be able to pass. All well and good. Talked about it before. I forgot how good a thing it was, like on a plane. When you're stuck somewhere and just kind of want to feel like you're doing a thing.
I don't want to be reductive, but how is it different to freeze, other than it's divisible by 4?
That is an excellent thing to bring up, because the second game I was going to bring up, which I hadn't played before, is Threes.
Really? You played 2048 before Freeze?
Yeah, someone told me about it years ago.
Because the whole thing about Freeze is that there's been so many clones of Freeze. So I'm wondering if this is a clone of Freeze. I doubt it came before Freeze. But as soon as I saw it, I was like, this is Freeze. Yeah, but
I mean, the big difference, though, is... I mean, Threes... You have to add a 1 square or 1 tile to a 2 tile to make a 3. Right. And everything after that, it's matching 2 of a type to get 1 up. Shit. I did not realize that I haven't put my phone on mute, so astute listeners will hear the soundtrack.
Is it a good soundtrack?
No. I mean, I've got big ass headphones on, and I was like, what is that noise? Oh no. Because I opened it up just to like remind myself of like, oh, how's it going? Because I'm bad at this non-job of ours. But yeah, so the big difference is obviously you're adding up by 3s instead of 2s, powers of 2. I wouldn't be surprised if 2048 was first, just because it's simpler.
Possibly, I don't know. I know Freeze has been kicking around for at least 8 years.
Oh, 8 years, so who knows? Yeah, because I think I first learned about 2048 a few years back.
Because I remember, like, it's like its heyday. It wasn't really in its heyday. It came to like Xbox, and it was something. You remember that snap feature in Xbox where you could have like something playing and there's something snap to the side?
Yeah,
that's how I used to play it. And that's where they put all their
just for that. Threes came out on the 6th of February 2014, and 2048 came out on the 9th of March 2014. There is a month between them.
So it's one of the clones.
Yeah. So and so there's actually a couple articles I just found, which I didn't get a chance to read, but apparently, one of them is claiming that wow, this is great. One is like when ripoffs are better than the original game, and the other one is like Threes is a masterpiece.
Yeah, people loved Threes. It's very popular. I enjoyed it just fine, but people are like, yeah, this is the best mobile game ever. But that's from people who didn't play mobile games.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh wow! So at one point,
That's
Threes
fair.
was removed from Google Play because it used 2048 as a keyword, despite that 2048 is a blatant known clone of Threes. Oh, there is like a fucking rabbit hole of the difference between these games that I didn't expect.
Mate, just the mind games in marketing must have been
Oh god, yeah,
just insane.
So one of the things that Threes does differently though is when you swipe to the left, everything moves to the left one brick.
Yeah.
So the two major differences, so there's three. There's obviously the threes versus twos, what we're adding on, but threes starts with this unique thing of you have to add a 1 and a 2, like smash a 1 and a 2 together to get a 3.
Yeah.
And then after that, 2 threes make a 6, 2 sixes make a 12, and you can literally do the maths.
2048 is inherently easier because of the maths.
Yeah, because 2048 is everything slides as far as it can, so you can the calculation's just differently, but it's also you hit a 2 into a 2, and 2 is the lowest card. You hit a 2 into a 2, it becomes a 4.
Yeah.
Which also means I'm not surprised if it was more successful, because it means you can, because everything shunts all the way. There's no like middle ground you can calculate, but also because there's no like all you need is the lowest number to hit the lowest number. It's just a more swipey game. Like I was going to comment on how just having that, if it introduces a 1 and then introduces a 2, but on the other side, I'm kind of fucked. Versus like I can kind of shunt a 2 to a 2 in a certain way. It's just, it's a different, like they seem like the same game except different numerals, but actually those the two functional differences mean a lot. Like it's, you have to strategically plan more with threes for various reasons, but the main one being like shit, like I can't I'll just you could basically, a fail state is always you can't shift anything, so because as soon as two tiles of the same type touch, or a 1 and a 2 in three's case, they collapse into each other, keep creating a new empty space. So if you aren't swiping in a way that keeps creating empty spaces, you fill up the board. That's the
There's no denominators that I can
and the whole point of the game is essentially like what's the biggest number you can get, like, because obviously when you hit a 12 into a 12 is a 24. If you can create another 24, then it's a 48. So how big your score by the time you end is always the biggest on both games. It's just the biggest number on the board.
It's a cool way to represent score as well, which I haven't thought about, where it's like, yes, this is the biggest number. You know? It's not like within margins. It's like, no, it's
it's just
demonstrably bigger than your last score. Yeah.
And you could have got there in a minimum amount of moves a day. I don't fucking care. The game just cares. What is the bigger number on the board?
Yeah. But that's the interesting thing about clones. It's like, especially in the mobile space, it's like so many clones, but it's like if
some
this
of them do
came
functionally
after,
different things.
but if they do, if it's the same concept, but they're doing, as you say, different things, and it's actually good, and you can see like work has been put into it. It's like,
well, like I said,
everything's reiterative in the gaming space. Like Fortnite is a clone. What do you think about it?
But like I like 2048 because of like the reason why I would pick a game like that is kind of like I want to mindlessly kill time.
Yeah. And that's valid.
And so I kind of just like that it's like these big sweeping moves. And maybe I'm playing it wrong. Because I'm not thinking as strategically, but like 3s, forces, every time I see, so any tile that is 3 or up is white, and then 1s are blue and 2s are red, I think. So every time I see a colored thing show up, I'm like, oh shit, I need to figure out how to get rid of this as soon as possible, because if I don't have the other matching color, it's like a non-starter. While all the white ones, maybe it's like I get a 3 in, then I can just tumble into a 6 or a 12. It's like, this is the starting point. I know I might fuck this up. While with 2048, you get the sense that, like, especially in the early game, it might hamper your end score, but you can kind of just, like, swipe around, get some 2s and 4s. Eventually, you'll find a way to collapse them together. Like, yes, there's the maximal way, but if you're just trying to kill time playing this game, you don't have to think that much.
Yeah, it's more mindless. Not in a bad way, but it's more mindless.
Yeah, it's scratching a different itch.
Because freeze definitely gets hard, like, after a few moves. So, yeah. But it gives you uneven gamer score, so it's good. So, if you're not on a 5 or a 0, then play freeze.
Nice. Yeah. Talking of kind of like clones and stuff, I have started Corruption 2029.
This is from the same devs as Mutant Year Zero?
Yes, which is from the Bearded Ladies, I think they're called.
Yeah, it's not Beard Envy, it's Bearded Ladies.
Yeah, Beard Envy is Filament, which we spoke about.
Yeah.
This is the Bearded Ladies.
You're not allowed to play any of these games because you don't have a beard anymore.
That's it. Are you allowed to play these games?
No. Yeah.
Yes.
Why can't I play these games? Because I had a beard and I don't anymore.
I had no choice. You received it from the beard.
Good.
You denounced your beard.
Ben, it is entirely very simple. You were bearded. Lucy was a lady.
Yes.
Lucy still is a lady. You are no longer bearded.
That's fine.
You cannot play
I have a beard now.
Well,
no, you are lady.
That's fine.
The bearded and the ladies can play this.
And you have envy.
What was the name of the game? Sorry.
You have green hands.
Corruption 2029. 2029.
Okay.
And it is like a straight up clone of Mutant Year Zero with just different models for lots of different things. And I haven't spent that long with it at all. I may talk about it next week once I've had a little bit more time with it. But currently, it's a very similar game, but on a user interface kind of level, it's nowhere near as good. I don't know whether they've thrashed it out really quickly,
That's
but
what I thought, yeah.
At least through the Epic Store. When you go to play a level, your character, which appears as a 3D character, is, rather than being on the right hand side of the screen, which is empty, is sat over the top of lots of information. So your loadout, the abilities that you can have, it seems like there's a few issues and a few bugs within this that are just, for me so far, have made it a little bit awkward to navigate.
A little bit.
The gameplay is as Mutant Year Zero was. It's very good. What I played of it is enjoyable, and it is, it's nice. It's a tactical sort of squad game, and that's great. But trying to navigate through those menus is a chore. Really is. And that kind of put me off. At one point, I just went, no, I just don't want to do this. I just don't want to sit here and not understand what weapons my characters have, and seeing what abilities I can kind of equip to them. No, I'm just going to turn this off.
Ben, was Mutant Year Zero just this last year, or was it the year before?
Last year.
Was it? No, it was 2018.
Was it really?
Wow.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like that. I remember it came at tail end of the year.
Something.
Yeah, it was about November of 2018. I seem to remember it was about sort of fifth or sixth of on my game of the year list of 2018
really
because
it,
because I did really enjoy it. Absolutely,
you're right. It came out December 2018.
It doesn't seem. How is that a year?
I know. And Corruption was free. No, it wasn't free. No, that's a complete lie. It was not free. It came out, I think, on Epic Game Store. I don't know whether there was exclusivity, but
February 17th, 2020. It's not on Steam. I already looked that up. Yeah.
So because I had through the winter sale a £10 discount code through Epic, I thought, well, brilliant, Mutant Zero. I really enjoyed Mutant Zero. I'll pick this up. But so far, it's a little bit, like, okay, I played this, and it's just buggy enough to put me off.
That's a real shame, because you would have thought, like, all the good press that they had from Mutant Year Zero, with it being on Game Pass, a lot of people probably would be like, oh, what's next from the developer? To put it out in this state, because that's what I've heard other than you, like, it's not as good, and people have just been like, it's okay, but I could be playing other strategic games, and that's not
and I'd be more than happy. I'd have been more than happy for them. And I'd have been more than happy for them to have gone back to Mutant Year Zero
and
to have produced
DLC campaign.
Yes, and a similarly priced solid DLC element to that game, rather than something different that isn't quite optimized to what they're trying to do.
That's a bummer. I wonder what, because it wasn't like the 3 months that I thought it was. It's like a year and 3 months since Mutant Year Zero came out. I wonder what prompted them to put out maybe it was just done, but when you're saying it's got bugs in it, it's like maybe it wasn't done. Maybe it could've...
Possibly, but it was done to a certain level that suddenly they were producing this game, and then they got the license from the tabletop RPG Mutant to then make a game based upon that, and they took the basis of what they'd already made and then adapted it to that franchise.
I don't even know
and then optimized it. So it's a Mutant is a tabletop RPG. Just a sci-fi D&D essentially. To really sort of draw it down to a very, very reductive sort of sentence, but it's a tabletop RPG, and they were able to take that franchise and work with it. So I mean, there can be an absolute ton of different reasons why that was put out, this wasn't, why this has come that quickly afterwards and isn't very good. It's not that it's not very good. I can't say that it's not very good, because the gameplay is solid. It is the same as Mutant Year Zero. It is a solid game. But a lot of the stuff in the menus is just awkward, so hard to navigate through.
That's just a bummer, though,
Yeah, that is sad.
When I think of, like, you play a game from a developer and it's like, oh, their next game's coming out. I don't know if it's just unreasonable expectations, but you always expect it to be as good as, if not better than the last thing.
Well, I definitely did, and as soon as I realised that it was from the same dev, I'm like, yes, I want this. Absolutely, it's just released. I want this. So I think it's only about £16 or £17, £15.99 maybe, and I had that £10 Epic Game Store voucher, so it was like £6. I'm like, yeah, it's a no-brainer. I'll pick this up. It seems like I know this is going to be good.
Yeah.
And now I played it, I'm going, oh.
Yeah, that sucks. Because in the case of like big AAA developers, it's like I'm always skeptical. I never expect the follow-up to be as good as.
Yeah.
But within smaller developers, I usually expect it. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I can't think of a case where it's like, oh no, this second game is bad. Not bad,
terrible,
but like,
yeah,
just a drop in quality.
Yes.
Not from a like. If it's a different direction, it's like, oh, I don't like this direction, or this, this like different genre you're going into.
Mm-hmm.
Just a step down in like quality.
Yeah, not a subjective measure.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, an
Yes.
objective one. Where it's like, this is buggy. This is. I can't. It's a shame. That sucks.
It is. Hopefully, something happens with it, and it gets patched, as quickly as possible, and I'm able to kind of just have a similar experience as I did with Mutiny Zero. But yeah, as it stands, I just don't want to go back to it.
That's that's very telling, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Hopefully they'll patch the hell out of it, and it'll be like Anthem 2.0 or something. Which we're still waiting on.
It definitely won't. Because it may actually appear. Let's finish there for this week. We've all enjoyed 3 beers this evening. Let's see what our favourites were. Lucy, did you have a favourite? We've had a range of beers.
I might need more time. It's between the lagers, but I can't think.
Ooh, Aadil.
Between the lagers. I have to say, I have a bit of a stretch as well. So, this one, the Luponic Distortion, didn't quite make the cut.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Was it
Gone straight away? Sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's mostly because I really like these other beers. So, both the Moors did things very differently. I really liked how smooth and melded the mango, the tea, and the pale ale worked in the do it together. Like, I thoroughly recommend this beer. It's really interesting. It's really tasty.
A good beer.
But I think I have to go with the old Freddy Walker, just because it did a lot and it did so well, and like, I'd grab another. Apparently it's award winning. I don't really care about that part. I care about the fact that like, it really does do sort of the things you expect from a Christmas pudding type thing, but without the density. So you just get these like, it's just really rich flavors all working together. Which, when I think about why I like the ironically named Do It Together, it's that it does all those things together. And actually, I've got this 7.2% beer that's doing more disparate things really well together. It kind of has to just, if that's the selling point of the green one, then the purple one wins, because it also has that, and it's a tougher job, and I would want another one.
Yeah.
But like, if you're not in the mood for heavy-ish dark ale, definitely take Moor up on their Do It Together, because I think the mango tea pale ale's quite a nice, easy drink. Not on the lager side like Lucy was having, but like a nice, good, solid pale ale with things going on. And actually, what I didn't like was its short finish, but if what you're looking for is just a simple beer, that might actually go in your favor. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. That's good. That's a good rationale.
And has it helped you, Lucy?
Yeah, because I'm going to go in the inverse direction, because I like to contradict everything Aadil said. I was tossing it up between the Vienna style lager and the IPL.
Right.
The Pamona Island Thumbman. That pale was nice. It was probably, yes, thumbs.
Or
opposable thumbs. Ben's doing his thumb face.
Kim sees that face a lot. It's
fine. We all feel sorry for Kim there. But the Thumbman, it was a decent pale. I think it was very one-sided in the finish.
Mm.
The start didn't have that fruitiness or that hoppiness that I'd expect a pale to have. Still a really nice, decent, easy drinking beer, but I'd say more of what the style is, and probably goes to the IPL and the Vienna style lager. But to choose one, the IPL definitely did what it said on the tin, whereas it's like, yes, we've got the fruitiness from an IPA, and then the lager is going to come in the finish with that, crisp, slightly buttery end. But you know what? Sometimes you just need a lager, and the Vienna style lager was a Vienna style lager. It's like it's got that biscuity maltiness to it. It's got that nice deep clove kind of taste to it, and it's like, yes, this is a lager. It's a nice lager, but it's easy at the same time. It's not heavy. It's not gassy. It's not harsh. It's just easy to drink, and yeah, I think it's the Beer Plus Art series from 2019, number 14. It's Pig Ears Beer Limited and Lost and Grounded, the Vienna style lager that Pip's supposed today. So yeah, this is very good.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Good. I'm kind of like in a similar position that I'm torn.
You are like Natalie Imbruglia.
I am. I'm exactly like Natalie Imbruglia. I'm on camera. I'm not singing though. That's slightly different. I've never been in Neighbours either.
Good pull. Very proud of you for that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Definitely a 90s child, obviously.
Yeah.
I don't know because the three beers I had were very different and were doing very different things and doing what they wanted to do. So the
double bend, don't kid yourself. It's the double.
I mean, it probably is. The Southbrew Company Confidence is a Preference. Was really soft for an IPA. It was really, really easygoing, really nice, very light. The Moor Barrel Aged Fusion was just a really good flavour, but I think it's one of those beers that you kind of have to be in the mood for. That barrel aging really coming through, that brandy element to it featured very, very heavily in that, and I think that is a beer to end your evening on. Absolutely. It wouldn't have been if I'd have kicked off with that beer, I'd have done something wrong this evening. But finishing on it was very good after these other beers. But the Patrons Project Northern Monk, which is with Deya and with Tank Petrol, Tank Petrol being the patron and Deya being the collaboration brewer, was just really, really good.
Yeah.
So juicy, and I think I mentioned you just got that 8.2%, but I think I was looking for it. If you didn't know that this was 8.2%, that could pass you by so easily. It's juicy. It's full of fruit. It's one of those that when we say like Deya has its own style, if you drink a Deya beer, you can probably very quickly pick out that it's a Deya beer.
Yeah.
And there's several other brewers that do that. Northern Monk is one of those, and I think you can kind of sit there and be like, this is a little bit, is it Deya, is it Northern Monk? It kind of pulls both of them in there very well. Balances both brewers and their styles out, and the kind of the flavours that you associate with them very well, whilst also being a really drinkable, very easy double dry hop double IPA.
Yeah.
Lovely soft nose for a double dry hop beer, but also easy drinking for a double IPA. So I mean, the can just impressed me. The fact that there's a fucking fold out and it's a manual than anything else, just to let everybody fucking see that once again. How fucking absurd.
They win all the beers today.
I would say the beer is clearly overpriced because you're paying for that.
At least 50p more than it should be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
absolutely
good.
So I can't imagine there are many of these left in any bottle shops currently in the country. But if you can, look for it. See if you can find it. Or order online. As we started out with the episode, so many brewers are adapting their business models to take online orders and deliver beers. So see what you can do to support your local brewer. See what you can do to support your local independent bottle shop as well. Whether you're, whether you want to buy pressure drop beers because they're fucking amazing, and then say, hey, give this money to this bottle shop because I really like them and I'd like them to exist in the post, capitalist fucking future. Yeah. We'll see. Hey,
one last beer before you enter the Thunderdome.
I mean, it's fair.
Mate, I fucking hope the Thunderdome, when we get in there, that beer is just poured on us continuously from the fucking stands, just thrown out. The Thunderdome is in Australia, so you'd imagine that it's just Victoria bitter, just as a like as a river flowing through the middle of it. Really, who actually knows what the fucking apocalyptic future is going to?
I'm sure it's
going to bring us, but we're going to drink through it. You should drink through it.
We won't even know it existed because we'll be blind drunk.
Well, that's it. We'll be drunk. We spent most of our time indoors anyway, so that doesn't really matter.
Yeah, this is great. I've got plenty games to play.
And thank you very much for joining us in your hour of need, in your final hours on this earth. I'm glad you've tuned into us, as you're the last 3 people you ever want to hear.
No, that's dystopia.
Yeah. But if we manage to survive, Aadil, how do people get hold of you and tell you about the games they're playing and the beers they're drinking?
I'm at the Omniarch on all of the things except Twitch, where I'm the _Omniarch. And to be honest, given this fucking self-isolation, I might actually stream a game. So maybe that actually matters. But
Should
also,
I buy a webcam? Oh my god, for my normal computer.
Yeah, that's fair.
Stream a game.
But also, I think for those
what are you thinking of doing with that webcam? Just I don't know, like what you're
earning money.
Yeah. Yep. But also, I think it's worth for those of you who actually watch us on video. Boy, do I want to hear opinions about Ben's chin.
It's chinnable chin.
I mean, it. To be honest, the pop filter has helped me not notice throughout the night that you don't have a beard, and it's real weird. So those are my tips and tricks. Contact me, but tell me what you think about. And if you haven't, go on the YouTube, because right now, at this point in the episode, you will see Ben posing in various ways
he's
that just show off just how different he looks and how weird it is for the rest of us.
I remember my chin being stronger than it is.
Everyone who has a beard says that. The reason why you grew a beard was you didn't have a strong chin. Hey, I'm the same way. I get it. If I wasn't
it's a lot softer. I thought it was harder.
Yeah, if I was less lazy, I was gonna shave in solidarity, and then Lucy would just be like, "Oh no,
I'd grow one. I just let mine grow out.
Yeah,
all free."
But I didn't.
I mean, I suppose now I need to explain it, don't I? Just so you know, I did shave because of the outbreak and my wife's realization that maybe she has it, and that things hang around in beards.
Yeah.
A lot longer than you think they actually do. So if you're in a position and you have a beard, maybe just take it off for a couple of weeks as a safety precaution.
Yeah,
I'm gonna shave all the hair on my body.
Well, that's probably a good idea. I mean, how far down do we go?
Oh, I said all, dude. I said all the hair on my body.
Yeah.
That's anyway, at least 2 days of work.
Yeah.
Lucy, how do people tell you how much they'd like to shave off of their bodies?
Juicy Loose 9 on everywhere. I'll be playing, I would have finished Ori by the time we next record.
Nice.
I hope, before Doom. Because it's a battle of Doom and Ori.
You've got a few days.
Yeah. But Doom looks good. But Ori's very good.
Good.
Yeah, I'll talk about that next week. But yeah, Juicy Loose 9 I'll probably wax lyrical Ori somewhere on the social medias.
Yes, absolutely. Nice. I am at Nova_47 on PSN and on Twitter. You can go to outoflives.net to read Scott Sedman's review of Doom Eternal.
Oh, you can also a written one as well.
He's got a written review. He and I also sat down and chatted about the game for a few minutes. I teased out of him a little bit more than you would get from the review, so it's worth kind of reading the review and listening to our discussion on that as well. You can go to our Facebook page where you can just see the video and listen to the audio of that as well. You can probably try and find the Out of Lives podcast feed where the audio has gone up, but if you're not listening to that, that's fine. It gives us a good barometer to know whether that is still in existence or not, and let us know whether it is or not.
It is for me.
Yeah, good. You'll see that pop up at some point, maybe. And let us know what you think, obviously, of this episode and all of the episodes that Tanked Up produces. Give us a 5-star, a 1-star rating, whatever you fucking like on your podcast service of choice. Nah, mate.
If you're not going to give a shitty,
just
if you're not
tell
going
us
to give
what
a
you
good
fucking
rating,
need.
please don't email us, tell us we're crap, but don't actually give a low rating. That's actually worse than no ratings.
That's very true. Yes, that is very true. Don't give us a 1-star rating. If it is shit and you don't enjoy us, email us and tell us why, and then never listen to us again.
Yeah,
Go on to your fucking shite
That's what reasonable
podcasts.
people tend to do. Yeah.
And go to the Out of Lives YouTube page to see our beautiful faces, the lovely beers that we have drank this evening,
and the lovely beards we don't have anymore.
Yes. And the beards that don't exist. You can also see, again, I believe, Scott and my discussion will be going up on there as well. I have played a little bit of Call of Duty Warzone, which I did a little bit of a chat about. Thank you. Which is up on our YouTube page as well. Dreams will commence at some point, who knows when.
I mean, Dreams is perennial, right? Like, it's just... when you're bored and playing games, you'll record some nonsense streams, right?
Absolutely. Dreams will exist until at least the end of the year, so it's going to be constantly called back upon. But yeah, leave us a review on your podcast service of choice. Tell your friends about us. Get more involved in the conversation and chat to us on all of the social medias at TankedUpCast, on Instagram, on YouTube. Aadil is at the Omniarch. Lucy is at Juicy Loose. I am at Nova_47. No, Juicy Loose 9. There's a number on there.
Yeah. They'll figure it out.
They'll work
but
it
also, we do have our Discord, which is getting a bit of a stream of people. Obviously, Discords have some notion of critical mass before people use them. We've got enough people. You just all got to join and say things. And given that we're in this time, it's probably a nice place to just chat shit about beers and games.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and they've got the capacity for live streaming or something like that. They've upped their capacity. I think Discord were like, if you're teaching a class or something like that, now we can have 50 people watching simultaneously. Yeah. So rather than 10 or whatever.
And also, if you want stuff from Out of Lives, like more streaming or video shit, let us know, because obviously we're all stuck at home, and so you want content and we're creating it, so let us know what you want.
If you want to see me stream Doom or Hitman, I'll need at least 1,000 people to
agree to
DM me. But, keep ripping and tearing that toilet paper you've ordered.
Oh dear. Yep. Fair enough.
Oh, what a good place to finish. We've been Tanked Up. Bye.
Ciao.
www.outoflives.net